Hi, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining into the NLP Summit 2024. Today we are diving into an exciting topic, how to create ebooks or technical ebooks using large language models and agentic frameworks. We'll focus on a powerful combination of one of the most popular agentic framework, Crew AI, and combine that with Google's powerful Gemini 1.5 Flash model. Now, this approach promises to transform the way we create sophisticated, engaging ebooks with a lot of efficiency and creativity. Let's dive in. Before that, a quick introduction. My name is Altaf Rehmani. I've spent more than 20 years in technology, in financial services, working for startups, running my own companies, and also being an angel investor in the past. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. I also run a generative AI community on School. The link is on the slides. We discuss applications of AI and a lot of interesting generative AI topics in our community. It's a free community. Feel free to join. I'm also the author of a book published earlier this year called Generative AI for Everyone, which is found on Kindle and Amazon. Let's go through today's agenda. Here is what we'll cover today. We'll start by understanding what are agents and why are they so powerful when it comes to solving problems. Next, we'll go through one of the most popular frameworks, or one of the frameworks for creating agentic workflows, and that is Crew AI. And there are other frameworks out there, Microsoft's AutoGen, LangGraph, AutoGPT, MetaGPT, but we'll focus. We have solved this problem using Crew AI, so we'll look at Crew AI and how it solves this ebook creation problem. Next, we will also look at the model which has been used. In this case, we have used Google's Gemini model. In fact, the Google's Gemini Flash 1.5, which is really good at creating long-form content. Then we'll walk through the end-to-end workflow for generating the entire ebook. And finally, we'll have a quick look at the user interface for generating the ebook, and then the final copy of the ebook, which I've already prepared beforehand. All right, and then when we have time, we'll go through the Q&A. So let's begin. Now, before we dive in, let's understand what an agent is. Essentially, an agent is a piece of software which utilizes large language models for their reasoning abilities. And what that allows them to do is break a large task or an objective into manageable goals, enabling efficient handling of complex tasks. Now, agents can also learn from their mistakes and refine their results for the future steps, thereby improving the quality of the final results. If you have used ChatGPT, usually you're doing a one-shot or a zero-shot communication. You ask a question, it returns a response. But then you have to refine, you have to ask more prompts to get the answer that you're seeking. Now, agents can automate this. They can iteratively work with large language models. They can not only utilize large language models, but other techniques, other things like memory. So they can remember what conversation we had in the past. They can have access to a knowledge base, which they can inspect to remember certain things. And one of the most powerful things is these agents can have tools. And tools can be any functions or APIs. For example, an API or a function to scrape the web, an API or a function to check the weather. Like you can write any sort of custom program to enable these tools for the agents to use. And finally, each of the agents also have a fixed persona and some instructions given to them. Now, if you combine all of this, this software or this agent really becomes powerful, because it's not only using the large language model, but it's also using all these other tools. It's memory, knowledge bases, it's got a specific set of instruction, and therefore it can do these powerful things which allow us to solve complex problems. But that's not it. You can create a multitude of agents and let them collaborate on solving more complex tasks in a very orchestrated fashion. And that is why everything in the Gen AI world is moving agentic, right? So it's one of the most exciting frontiers in generative AI. Definitely I'm sure most of you have heard about it. If not, you should definitely check it out. Okay, now that we have understood what are agents, let's look at some of the fundamental concepts, the key components of the Crew AI agentic framework. Now, essentially, the Crew AI framework was chosen because it's really, really simple to understand, simple to implement, yet very powerful when it comes to orchestration. So the way you work with this framework is you define your agents, and there's a very simple protocol or a template to define the agents and what these agents would do. And then you can define tasks by themselves. You can define a task, and there's a template or a protocol to define a task. You can then also design tools or functions, and then you can bring all of this together. You can bring agents, connect them to tools, connect them to tasks, and you can orchestrate this in multiple ways, which is basically the process block that you see. So you create agents, define them, you create tasks, you define them, you create your own custom functions or tools, and then you bring it all together to achieve specific outcomes. And although this seems simple on the surface, if you combine these things and make them work collaboratively with the power of large language models, this makes up for a very powerful framework to solve problems. Okay, let's now talk about the Google's Gemini model. Gemini is the state-of-the-art language model that is used for it's known for its capability for natural language generation. Now, in our ebook creation process, Gemini will be responsible for creating the content, editing and refinement, and also adapting to different styles. Now, Gemini is useful for writing long documents because of its special ability to process lots of information. It's got a really large context length. The context length of Gemini Flash 1.5 is 1 million tokens. The API at the moment is currently free to use. So it's a very good model to research and experiment, especially when it comes to creating lengthy forms of content. And that's why we have chosen this particular model to create our ebook. It's also got other exciting capabilities, excellent summarization, condensing lengthy documents into concise summaries. It's got a very long context awareness. And because of this, while it's writing a long document, it can maintain context throughout the process, ensuring consistency and logical flow in the generated content. So we thought that Crew AI, simple yet powerful framework, combined with Gemini Flash 1.5 would be the ideal combination for doing something like writing an ebook. All right, now let's see the mechanics of how the ebook is generated. Of course, there are multiple ways of doing this. I'm not saying this is the best way, but this is what we found is a logical series of steps that we can use to generate an ebook. Okay, so we start with a topic and we generate the outline of the ebook using the topic. This is a very common thing. Any LLM can do this very well. Gemini is also really, really good at producing good outlines given a topic. Once we have the topic, once we have the outline, we then ask the user, or we have a user interface, a simplistic user interface, where we ask the user to confirm and verify the outline, and we allow the user to make changes to the outline, right? So here we are allowing the user to customize the outline. If they don't like something, they can delete it. If they want to change something, they can change the topic, they can change the chapter, they can add a new chapter, so on and so forth. So we give that flexibility. We put human in the loop, and we allow the user to customize the outline provided by the agent. Then we go into a series of steps for every chapter and every topic, right? One is we pass the control to a research agent, and we say, okay, given this topic and this subtopic, or this chapter and this topic, please go and research the information about this chapter and this topic, right? And the agent then goes out to the web, it looks at the top links, it gets all the information from the top links, it summarizes, condenses, and then formats the specific subtopic for that chapter, right? So once the research is done, then that research is then passed over to a writer, and the writer writes the particular chapter subtopic. right? So in this case, we are saying every book has a series of chapters. Within each chapter, you've got these subtopics or subchapters, if you want to call them. The writer agent drafts the subtopic of the chapter. That's step number 4. Once that subtopic is drafted, it passes on to step 5, where there is a special agent which reviews the content which was written. So there is this drafting and reviewing process. And the reviewer's job is to just review the content, give it a final look, make sure that it looks okay, and then even suggest corrections to the writer. Once all the reviews are submitted, there is a final writer which takes all the reviews and then incorporates all the reviews in the content. And once all the reviews have been incorporated, then we create a chapter file for that subtopic, right? Which is your chapter. And we do this in a loop. We do this over and over again until all the chapters and all the subtopics per chapter are all covered, and we get a number of docx files or Word files. And then at the final stage, we simply take all these Word files, we combine them, we put a chapter header, we put a book name, topic name at the beginning, we create a table of content, and then we convert the merged document into a final PDF. Again, to summarize, generate the outline, get the user to confirm the outline, then go into this loop with agents where you are researching content, drafting it, reviewing it, creating the final subtopic, creating multiple Word files. And then once all the chapters are generated, you combine all of that into a single Word file, which then gets converted into a PDF. Now, I won't be able to show you a full demo of this, but let me show you some code snippets and how easy is it to do something like this. So this is how you define, this code is shown in Python, and this is the Crew AI framework. In this particular slide, we are creating the researcher agent. We're just defining the researcher agent. So we give a role to the agent, we give it a goal, and we give it a backstory, right? So backstory is basically giving instructions, some background, injecting some profile into the agent, and then some other parameters. How many iterations should it go through? What is the LLM it should use? Whether it should do logging or not, so on and so forth. So it's very simple template to define an agent, what its role is, what is its goal, and what is sort of the profile or the persona of that agent. Once you define the agent, then you define tasks as well. The tasks are also very simple to define. You describe the task, and then you say what is the expected output, and you also associate an agent with this task, right? So define an agent, define a task, associate the task with the agent, and also associate tools with this task if required. So I won't go through all the agents, but quickly we have a writer agent, a writer task, we have a reviewer agent, and we have a reviewer task, and then finally we have the final writer task. Once we have defined these tasks and agents, then we just bring it all together by creating a crew, right? Where we list all the agents, all the tasks, and kick off the crew to get the final result. Okay, I will now show you a quick demo of this. So I'll switch to the demo, and let's say I give a topic learning Python. Here I've just created this Streamlit application which takes in a Gemini key and a SERP API key. So SERP API key is used to search the web. This is for the researcher agent. And the Gemini API key is used to talk to the Gemini 1.5 Flash model. So if I say learning Python as the book topic, then I click on generate book outline. Now this goes to the model, and it comes up with a nice outline. And you can see it's come up with these all 10 chapters. And then we have got a UI wherein you can go in and you can look at these chapters, and you can look at what are the points covered in each of these chapters. And then we've got a very easy interface or a UI where you can add new chapters, or you can even edit existing chapters. So you can actually point to one of the indexes and you can say, okay, I want to edit chapter number 3. This is the title I want, and these are the topics I want to cover. So we have given an interface like this, and once we are happy, then we will go in and sort of generate. Once you're happy with the topics and the subtopics, or the chapter and the subtopics, then you can just go and click on the generate ebook button. I won't click on this because it takes a very long time to generate the entire content and then combine it into a PDF. But here is a final output that is generated using the code. Use a simple title at the beginning, table of contents, and then it's just working its way through writing the content. So this is a 62-page ebook which we generated using Gemini Flash 1.5 and Crew AI. Okay, so now of course this is not perfect and this is not done yet. So we still continue to work on this. There are lots of improvements and learnings which I want to share with you. Number one, of course, we want to ensure that even after the chapter is created, user can make iterative refinements. And we want to allow the user to do that. So that's an area for improvement. We want to try multiple LLMs in the same, just not Gemini. We also want to use other models to look at different content styles for different sections of the book, if that is applicable for your topic. We want to enhance the performance to create really large books, not exceeding token limits. And we also want to try thread programming so we can go and generate these various chapters in parallel instead of doing it sequentially, which is currently the case. And from a user experience perspective, we want to show progress indicators, estimated time for content generation, show some streaming outputs, as well as include images. So right now, the final output that we have does not have images, but that's something that we want to improve going forward. Finally, the learnings. We really like Gemini 1.5 Flash. It performs much faster. Currently, it's free. And in our experience, it performed better than the OpenAI models. And Crew AI and Gemini 1.5 Flash works very well for content generation like ebooks, blogs, newsletters, and gives consistent outputs. And we really like the iterative approach to generate book chapter by chapter, because this really allows us to create long-form content. So yeah, that's it about my presentation. Hope this was useful. Once we finish the complete application and we're happy with it, then obviously we will share it in our community. So do join our free generative AI community. Thank you very much.
As today's sessions come to a close, I want to thank you all our speakers, and you, the audience, for shedding light on the most recent breakthroughs in NLP, LLMs, and generative AI. I would like to thank each one of you for your engaging questions and for sharing your experience and expertise. It's evident from our discussion that open source efforts and the community play a pivotal role in applying generative AI and NLP techniques in practice. The range of tools and models presented today, tailored to tackle real-world business problems and challenges, is truly inspiring. The accomplishments of the open source community this year have been impressive, and by all means, we are only getting started. We reconvene tomorrow at noon Eastern Time for day 2 of the NLP Summit, with a spotlight on the role of NLP in healthcare. We invite you to rejoin and be a part of this ongoing discourse and community. Wishing you a pleasant evening, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.